Well, Larry, the Warriors have now lost 5 straight. They've lost 7 of 9. They've lost 8 in a row to the Nuggets. How's tonight looking for you, brother?
I'm good.
Oh.
They're not, they look a little bit in the last week. This is why you don't, for all the people who are just bashing me.
Yes.
When I said 38 wins, it's like, it's a long fucking year.
Yeah, it
okay?
is. Yeah, it is.
And lots of things can happen. And you know what? When your best player is 36 and your second best player is like 34, it can happen. So
And your coach is pretty incompetent. It's a lot of bad things.
Did you see Kerr at the end?
I did, and that was
God, he was
we'll break it down.
Fuego.
We'll break it down. It was justifiable, but it also was him masking a lot of blunders on his part. We'll talk. There's lots to talk about. Welcome to the Krug Show. Welcome to Golden Days. Let's get into it.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. And things suck. Woo!
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you
Good job, Moses Moody. Why don't you put your ass on the bench for that? Welcome to the Krug Show. Welcome to Golden Days. Krug.
What an intro. Look at that. Woo! Let's raise the roof.
The great Bill O'Reilly, man. That's associated with our program, brother. Warriors Tuesdays. Who's paying your bills, Larry? Who's
do it live. We'll do it live.
Effing thing sucks.
Thing sucks. Bill O'Reilly. Oh, my goodness. The maturity of like an 11-year-old. And I apologize to all 11-year-olds. By the way, yes, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. You can get your brisket chili, your barbecue chicken, your barbecue ribs. It's all great. It's all fantastic. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Get some brisket. The brisket chili is absolutely very unique. It's pieces of brisket in a spicy chili with multiple kinds of peppers. It's absolutely spectacular. Try it. The potato chips are amazing. You can only get them in Corte Madera. So thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show.
Beautiful. Is that it for the night, or don't you have like a?
Well, I mean, I've got other sponsors I could throw out as well. Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. My good friend Anthony Catania. He's at 831-521-5264. If you're a sports collectible or card enthusiast, man, Anthony will take care of you. Tell him you're a big fan of the Krug Show when you're down there along the Monterey Peninsula. And then Mancini's. I'm brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. They're a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. If you use the code KRUG10, you'll get 10% off. 10% off a $3,000 mattress.
That's a lot of money.
Is a lot of money. So
$300, right?
I mean, I'm not a math expert, but I think that's right around $3.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's a good amount.
Krug 10. Type in the Krug 10 code. You'll get 10% off in store or online at sleepworld.com. And then, of course, we're also brought to you by Better and BetUS, and we thank them as well. So, and we got more sponsors coming aboard at the Krug Show. So we really do appreciate it. We're in year 3. We're at right around 50,000 subs and loving life right now.
Beautiful. Bravo, sir. And well-deserved. That needs to be added as well. It's nice to see one of the good guys in this industry succeeding, because oftentimes that's not the case. So bravo to you, sir. Golden Days is brought to you by Bet Online, which continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, and so much more. I'm really amped about the college football playoffs. Among many things you could bet on. Head to the bet. What's up?
The college football playoffs. I don't even think people realize what they're about to get here.
I'm going to
Because
be interested.
nobody knows college football players by name, but the way this thing is structured, by the time we get to the final, those college players will become the most famous college football players in the history of college football. Watch it happen. Watch it happen, because they're going to play multiple games, and the media is going to get the chance to see who's on these teams. Then they're going to start telling their stories like an NCAA tournament, and we're going to know more and more and more and more. We're going to care more and more and more and more. And these guys are going to have value and Q rating coming out of this thing that no college football player really, for the most part, ever had, except for select individuals.
I haven't been interested in college football in probably 15 years. And
really,
and a lot of it is because most of these games just don't mean a damn thing. To suddenly have a playoff, I'm all in, dude. Like, sign me up. I'm actually going to be watching these games. I agree with what you say, where you're going to suddenly have a lot of household names in college football. That hasn't been the case in a long time. And I'm with you, man. I think this is a game breaker. I mean, we're not here to talk college football, but regardless, head to Bet Online and use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. The Golden State Warriors, losers of 5 straight. They've lost now 7 of 9. The fact that they can't beat the Nuggets, that alone is concerning. They've got issues. I mean, this slide is now it's reaching a proportion of major concern. Larry, you said it a moment ago, calling out all the haters who are bashing you for your 38-win prediction. I'm going to guess you don't think the Warriors will win 38, but your prediction doesn't sound as bad now as it did then. I mean, what was your reaction to this? And the Warriors slide, dude. We haven't seen each other in a week.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a long year. It's a long year, and it's just like, and a lot of things can happen. And Buddy Hield got off to a really hot start. He's not playing that well or that way as much now, I guess. But I mean, it's just a long year. I mean, and their best players are older, and there's a lot of good teams in the West, and it's just, we'll see. I mean, I'm not doom and gloom. Like, I think they're horrible, but I think they're going to win around 40 to 45 games. It's not a 50-win team, I don't think. I never thought so. I mean, 50-win teams don't start Lindy Waters III. Are we losing our mind here? Nobody in my lifetime that I can remember who had a 50-win team started a Lindy Waters. I mean, they have. So it's like, there's Steph and Clay. Wiggins is in his prime. The only guys in the prime would be like guys like Wiggins and Kuminga and Moody. And those guys are the guys that really should be carrying the load. The other guys are a little young, a little old, right? But the guys in their prime are Wiggins and Moody and Kuminga. And Moody and Kuminga are most of the time coming off the bench. Now, Kuminga started tonight. What do you have? 19 and 5. He shot 18 times, 9 of 18. Only took 2 threes. But, and
the one he made was a solid one. Larry, let's talk about that fourth quarter, because I think that's what's on a lot of people's minds. The Warriors were leading. I thought this game was under control. They were up 109-98 until the 6:01 mark. And then Michael Porter Jr. made that monster dunk. And slowly it started to unravel. But what stuck out to me, among many things, besides the fact that Michael Porter Jr. was starting to just hit everything, and Jokic is being Jokic, and we're going to talk about the refs who are just atrocious tonight. But what I really didn't like were the minutes late in the game, in the middle of the game to the late portion of the game, primarily when we saw Podziemski in there, dude. This is clearly Steve Kerr's golden boy. Podziemski in reality should not be getting the minutes he's getting. His minutes were were diminished slightly tonight from what we've seen, at least what we saw the last game where he played 33 minutes tonight. It was down to 24. But at the end of the game, there was a sequence where he missed a wide open 3. And that continues to be a problem for Brandon Podziemski. He can't hit his shot. It's like his shooting has whatever was and again, you called this out repeatedly, but what was optimistic that we saw last year, whatever happened in Santa Clara where he shot 43.8% from deep, that is not carrying over into the sophomore season for Brandon Podziemski in the NBA. He misses this clutch wide open 3 late, and then right after that gives up a 3 defensively because he can't defend either. It was a 6-point swing. Steph Curry and Kuminga were not in the game at this point, but the Pod's minutes, I think, are a concern. I've been criticizing Kerr for years for this over-reliance of his on ball handlers. Like, if they can't dribble the ball like a point guard, for some reason, in Steve Kerr's mind, they're not as valuable as someone who is an efficient ball handler, who dribbles like a natural point guard. I think that's a massive crutch among many. Let's start with Podziemski, dude. Like, what are you seeing out there? Is regret the name of the game, given they potentially could have had Lauri Markkanen? Because that's looking awful. Podziemski's not looking good. I'm getting tired of the minutes. We haven't seen this level of leeway with Moody and Kuminga yet. Podziemski, it doesn't matter what he does, he'll still get 25, 30 minutes. What are your thoughts on Podziemski, dude? Because it's starting to get old, man.
Well, I mean, first of all, he didn't play very much in the fourth quarter. Only 2 minutes and 44 seconds of the quarter.
Bad 2 minutes 44 seconds. Yeah, and he got yanked
wasn't
fast.
Good. He took the one shot. It was a 3. He's not a great defensive player. He's a rebounder. I mean, how many guards that are kind of just like smart players and rebounders? That's what he is. He's kind of a smart player and a rebounder. He's not a marksman. I don't think he's ever going to be a sharpshooter. He just doesn't. He's leaning forward on his shot. His alignment's all off. It doesn't look right. And it's like I wonder. I mean, was this guy? He's pretty heavily muscled up in the upper body for a basketball player.
He's strong.
You wonder though if that is preventing him from being a shooter, because he does seem kind of yoked for he's got kind of tight, thick shoulders, and he almost looks like he could be like a football player if he put on some extra weight. So I don't know. I mean, he's an interesting player. I mean, he's got good basketball IQ. What I like about him is he competes and he really wants to win. I mean, he's not one of these guys that just shows up and is going through the motions. He plays for the W. He plays for the right reasons. But unless the shot's going to be there, you're not much of a defender. You don't have great lateral agility. It's like he only played 2 minutes and 44 seconds. He took one shot and he also had a turnover. So it's like, that wasn't great. But I think Kerr likes him because he feels like he's going to make the right basketball play. He'll make the extra pass and he'll rebound. So that's why he's going to. Anytime you're wondering why Podziemski gets minutes, there's the old saying in basketball: if you rebound, you play.
That's bullshit, Larry. That is that should not be a reason for someone getting minutes. Do you believe that?
Well, I definitely think that if you're, there's lots of things you can do on the basketball floor. You can set up other people. You can block shots. You can shoot the ball. You can shoot the ball from beyond the arc. And rebounding is a big part of it. I mean, the Warriors in the fourth quarter won the fourth quarter 30-29. They out-rebounded Denver, a bigger team, 13-9 in the quarter. And Podziemski, what did he have? He didn't have any in the quarter. But 2 for Kuminga, 2 for Looney, 2 for Steph, and then 3 for Kyle Anderson, it looks like, 2 for Trace Jackson Davis, and 1 for Moody, 1 for Peyton. So it was a group effort, but 13 fourth quarter rebounds against 9. They rebounded the basketball, but the issue in this game was
Larry,
Kerr was complaining.
As you say that. Just for the record, as you say all that, I'm just going. I'm falling asleep here, dude. Why is the rebounding matter? Kerr's complaining at the at the podium here, or he was a minute ago, about the official and about how Brown called a timeout. He did,
and he clearly did.
Yes.
And they didn't have any more timeignout. Is that
Correct.
the deal?
So what would have happened is it would have been a technical shot. They clearly
called the foul, and they didn't. They ignored. I mean, why? It's like they overruled him because they were protecting him. If he called the timeout, they got to give him the timeout, and that's a technical. That was a huge play.
And that's where maybe Kerr wasted a challenge on Kevon Looney, the foul that fouled him out of the game. I don't know if you could have challenged that. I actually am not sure, to be honest. But Kerr had every right to be pissed about that because Christian Brown did clearly try to call for a timeout. And had the refs actually noticed, unless they did and they just preferred not to acknowledge it, which is completely egregious. I mean, they better address that with a statement or something. But it would have been a technical shot for the Warriors and possession, meaning this was the Warriors lost this game by 4 points. Technical shot makes it a 1-possession game, and then anything could happen from there. So I understand Kerr being frustrated, but I also think it masks a lot of his blunders in the fourth quarter. For starters, one of the best players in the game, Larry, in the fourth was Moses Moody. Moses Moody was on fire in the fourth quarter. The dude was one of the biggest reasons why the Warriors had a 109-98 lead. And Steve Kerr has not shown an aversion to giving players full quarter minutes, like a 12-minute run. I guess the first thing I'm curious about, because I don't think Kerr deserves to be let off the leash for this, man. The Gary Payton minutes near the end, there was no good reason for that. Like, why GP2 was the one putting up a potential game time shot made no sense to me. I don't know why he was in the game. I don't know why GP2 still gets minutes, given it's not producing any results that make a difference for the Warriors in a positive fashion. But Moses Moody gets taken out inexplicably, and then Kerr's like brings him back in trying to save face when it was too late. Did you notice that too, or is that just me?
Well,
I mean, I thought Moody was playing great, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and I just didn't understand why. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you got Nick in the star chats who says Kerr yelling at refs like it wasn't his disastrous substitutions after Looney fouled out that lost the game. Inexcusable. Dubs played their heart out. I agree with Nick.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree with Nick. I mean, he's spot on that.
Yeah.
Nick, he's on that. I mean, this is the issue when you have this many similar players, and we're always going to, I mean, it's like, you can almost predict how these conversations are going to go. Because he's got, a bunch of players that are all kind of the same, and it's like, this team really is not the team that they wanted. This is the team that they just brought to camp because they were collecting assets on the way to trying to make a bigger move, and they couldn't make that move. So now you just kind of have a team that's like full of 2 or 3 extra assets that probably all should be turned into like one player, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of and so we're sitting here in the post game getting bogged down in Kerr's rotations, because look how many guys he could go to that are kind of going to give him something similar. And some guys have it, some guys don't. Some nights it's going to work, some nights it's not. But I mean, there ain't a big difference on this team between Looney, Wiggins, and Podziemski, who started, and Trace Jackson Davis, Buddy Hield, and Moody, who came off the bench. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, It's like the bench and the starters. It's like, right now it's like Steve gets into a spot where I feel like he doesn't really know what he's going to get from his players on a regular basis. And he seems like he's kind of tinkering and he's trying things. And, I've talked to him enough to know, Cy, that like he doesn't have no reasons for putting all these guys in. He'll have some reason, whether it's right or the right guess or whatnot, but it's not like he's just randomly going, you get in there, get him out of there. He's got some kind of plan that he, thinks about, but it doesn't mean he's right. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. I've prepped for shows and it's been awful. And then there's been other shows where I didn't prep at all. I didn't even know I was going to be on. And I walked in, it was like one of the best shows ever. So, you know what? It's not always about your prep and about sometimes you just got to, make it happen in the moment. And sometimes I think he guesses right. And I think other times his feel is off.
Let's hear from Steve Kerr. Anthony Slater, one of 2 journalists I routinely give a lot of credit to for great work covering the Warriors, him and Sam Gordon. Side note, Larry, I think we've joked about this before, how these days so few reporters travel with the Warriors when they're on the road that a lot of these press conferences, these clips like you're about to see right now, you might think there's like a pool of reporters, but in all likelihood, there's a very strong possibility there's only 2 people in the room with Kerr. One is Anthony Slater, who posted this video on his Twitter account. The other is Sam Gordon of the San Francisco Chronicle, who, side note, is joining Golden Days tomorrow night. I'm really looking forward to that. But here is... You're getting somebody that was in a 2-person press conference on your show? Dude, that's the Golden Days for you, baby, in the house. I'm kidding. You're not tier 1, but you have guys on your show that are. That's how I roll, brother. I bring the I can't go to the games anyways because I can't do these post-game shows right after. But yeah, we have people inside the building, inside the locker room, reporting to us. So we got proxies. Yes.
Hey, these shows are seen by a lot of people, right? So you got a big Warrior audience.
I hope
Ray
so.
Ritter, Ray, if you're out there for Christmas, tier 1.
Well, here's
Christmas, Ray. We've known each other a long time. Tier 1.
Here's Steve Kerr.
Can I roll in there? Tier 1, like sorry, Damon Bruce. Sorry, all these other people. Go sit in the auxiliary. I'm in tier 1. I'm up here with Slater.
So this is
Ray. If you're out there, Ray, before we play this, if you're out there, if you see this, Christmas tier 1. Just think it over. Think it over. Talk to Joe. Just throw it around the room a little bit and get back to me.
So there might just be one, maybe two people in the room. Most likely it's Sam Gordon and Anthony Slater talking with Steve Kerr. This is right after the game.
Okay.
You were particularly upset post game. Was that about them not like Braun seemed to?
Yeah, Brown called the timeout. He drove on the floor. He rolled over. Everybody saw it except for the 3 guys we hired to do the games, and that makes me angry. This is that's a technical foul. They don't have a timeout left. Technical foul. We shoot free throw. We get the ball. We got a chance to win the game. They all told me they didn't see it. He dives on the floor, rolls over, and he goes timeout. Up to the referees to see that's why we have 3 of them. Somebody's got to see it. So that made me mad. With that said, that's not why we lost. We lost because we didn't close again. It's like the 5th game in a row where we've, maybe not all 5, but most of these games in this stretch, we're not closing. We're not executing. We're not making good decisions. And that's got to improve.
I mean, it was an 11-0 run. I mean, are you mostly blaming this on the offense?
Yeah. We turned it over a couple times, but the fouling, 3-point shooting, they shot 35 free throws. So I thought we played a hell of a game for the most part. The guys played their asses off. They're competing and they're trying, but we can't send them to the line 35 times. And so I think we're trying too hard. I think guys are closing out without any discernment about what's about to happen. You got to close out and challenge, close out to the side. The guy makes a shot, he makes a shot. But you can't send a team to the line 35 times and expect to win a game against a great team. So we got a lot to work on. Proud of the guys for their effort. We had a lot of guys who really came up big, played well. But if we're going to be a good team, and I think we can be, we've got to learn to execute and close games.
And I do agree with Kerr. I do think this is a good team, Larry. I know. All kidding aside, we've made our predictions to a certain extent. I actually still don't know what the hell this team is, but they started 11-2, right? I think it was 11-2, 11-3, whatever it was. It was a hot start, and I built that was not a fluke either. Unfortunately, things have started unraveling, Larry. And one huge part of it, as Kerr mentioned, is the fouling. This team is fouling a lot. Tonight,
Podziemski led the way.
Yeah, so 30. The Nuggets had 35 free throw attempts. The Warriors had 21. Thankfully, the Warriors were at least made 15 of them, which is still not that great. Actually, that's not good at all, man. They're still not making their damn free throws. We could talk about that in a second. But what are your thoughts on Kerr's comments there, man? I mean, if you could hear it. I mean, that was quiet. Sorry. No,
I could hear it. It was a little low, but it was good. I don't know. I mean, I'm a Kerr fan. Damian LaRoche in the chat's like, Kruger is killing by not recognizing that Kerr is the something hooking this.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Yeah,
that was at 9:57.
What was his point? His point was what? That you should be criticizing.
I think that I should be ripping Kerr for not having the right rotations. I mean, it didn't work. I mean, they did not score in the final 2 minutes of something of the game. I mean, they didn't. You got to score down the stretch. You got to finish. If it was me, okay, look at this Warrior team. If you could go, we've talked about trades and all this stuff. We talked about different kinds of pieces. One thing that I would love to see the Warriors have is kind of like that finisher, that guy who is going to get you 3 buckets when you need him. A scorer, somebody who's a true scorer. I hate to say Jordan Poole, but like Cam Thomas, or they need a score. They need another scorer or Buddy Hield's got to start to show up.
Well, Wiggins is supposed to be that too, but he slipped on that final drive. I mean, just botched. I mean, Wiggins, I don't think had a good game today either. It's the consistency still isn't there with him. I thought it was a good game, a weak first half. He made up for it in the second half, but you're right, man. It would be nice if the team had more finishers, because this is becoming a trend, these fourth quarter late game droughts where the team just forgets how to score.
It doesn't have to be a star either. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're just talking about who's somebody who's like a spurt scorer in the league. Like Malik
Dennis
Monk.
Schroeder or something like that, or is that I don't want him, but
Malik Monk would be an awesome piece on the Warriors.
Yes,
why? Because all of a sudden you'd get this spurt of offense and you'd be like, whoa, and now they're like beating everybody. Somebody who as soon as you put them in is just like, instant offense. Somebody like that would really be nice. Because they bog down and they can't always score, and they get certain lineups out on the floor and they look really challenged at the end of games compared to some of these other teams.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. And it wasn't just the free throw. Again, 15 of 21. The Warriors are dead last in the NBA in free throw percentage, which is a shocking yet very real statistic. Andrew Wiggins got to the line 3 different occasions. He was a perfect 5 of 5. Thank goodness. Kevon Looney was butchering the free throw line. He was just 1 of 4. Trace Jackson Davis, 1 of 2. Kuminga only had 1 trip to the free throw line. He leads the team in that category in terms of free throw attempts, missed both his free throws. Good game for him otherwise. But, dude, I mean, I feel like Buddy Hield is, as my voice goes up, like I'm experiencing puberty at 46. Buddy Hield, he's not lighting it up like he was early in the season. Is that a fair assessment, man? Like, is this just part? Like, I feel like
he's cooled off a little bit, but you know what? He's still a great shooter. I mean, he's a pure shooter. That's what he is. I'll take my chances with Buddy Hield, but he's going to have some off nights for sure. It would be nice if they had one more guy who could score a little bit more, like on his own, and maybe going to the bucket would be nice. But. Yeah. They did foul. You have to defend. I mean, the Warriors' problems are multiple, but defending without fouling has always been a consistent problem for whatever reason during the Kerr era. And tonight it was just brutal. I mean, and Podziemski led the way. I think he had 6 or 7, or I think he had 5 fouls. I think Looney had 6.
Yeah, he fouled out. Looney fouled out late in the game. Yeah, it was just, God damn, it was frustrating. The Warriors had this game. And to see him lose it like that, and what's really
they're not finishing.
I'm sorry?
They're not finishing. They don't have the ability to kind of finish you off at the end.
Exactly. You're absolutely right, because this isn't the first time they've done this. I mean, I'm going to pull up the Warriors schedule in terms of like all the other games. I'm looking back now. They did this in terms of scoring droughts late in the game. They did this against the Thunder late in the game. They did this against the Brooklyn Nets late in the game. They did this against the Spurs late in the game. Where they just suddenly forget how to make buckets. And it's just, you're right. Maybe the salve is, the solution to this is making a deal. And one good piece of news, if there's any from this, because this is frustrating. I'm almost like too over it to be as fired up as I've been the last few post-game shows, is Anthony Slater has one more attribution for us. And folks, turn up the volume on your devices or however you're watching us, because this one, yes, folks, miracles do happen. Steve Kerr is criticizing Brandon Podziemski. Let's take a listen to what Kerr had to say about an individual a lot of people call Steve Kerr's stepson. Certainly one of his favorites. Here is Kerr criticizing Brandon Podziemski.
When we're up 12 in the late second quarter, that was frankly insane. 5-on-4. You just keep hitting singles, throw the ball to the open guy. He had the same play last week against Brooklyn where he tried to throw a lob over his shoulder. He cannot be that guy, and he can't foul jump shooters. I love Brandon, a hell of a player. He's got a hell of a future ahead of him. But I hope he watches this clip right now, me talking, because he needs to hear it. He's got to be a smart, tough, great decision maker, and he's very capable of it. But that's his next step.
So that was like a pat in the back kind of a criticism. I don't know. What did you take from that?
I got 2 words for that: trade bait. Trade bait.
Well, I mean, it's almost like too late to trade him now. If you're going to trade him, you had Lauri Markkanen sitting there. You know,
too late to trade him. This kid's going to be traded like 6 times in his career.
Yeah, you think so?
No, he'll be traded a lot.
Okay.
He'll be traded because he's got some skills, and it's like beauty in the eye of the beholder. But there's also some flaws, and you know the way it works. It's like sometimes you get tired of looking at a guy's flaws, and then you move.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that get traded. But yeah, it sounds to me like, you know, the bloom is, at least if it's up to Kerr, he'd be willing to move Pajemski.
Good.
They're going to do something. I mean, Brooklyn's looking to shake it up. They're offering everybody. Go get Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith.
One report out there, and I have no idea how valid it was, but the name was someone that I've been looking at for a long time who I think would be perfect on this Warriors team. That's Nikola Vucevic. Spaces the floor. He's a 7-footer who can grab rebounds, he's as good defensively as Nikola Jokic, and the Nuggets seem to be doing okay. Regardless of his defensive deficiencies, take that risk, and he's going to cost you nothing. So anyways, I heard that report. Kelly Olynyk has been tied to the Warriors, Larry. Does that excite you at all? I wouldn't mind him. I think there's better options out there. How does Kelly Olynyk make you feel when you hear his name?
No, I don't like Kelly Olynyk. He's not a good enough shooter. You know, he likes to shoot.
Yeah, he does like to
me,
shoot.
he's not a good enough shooter. For what I want. I want a higher percentage shooter. And I don't love him as a defender either. So I mean, I don't know. He's not my favorite. I mean, I could see some efficiency in his game for sure, but to me, I mean, the teams that they ought to be. I mean, there's a number of teams out there. You know, I think Larry Nance would be kind of nice on this team. I've always liked Larry Nance.
If the Hawks steal him, yeah, that's a good name. Right.
He's to me is a big man who's smart, can run the floor and play for Kerr, I think. And then I like Cam Johnson a lot. We've talked about that a lot. I think he's a pure shooter, and I like Cam Thomas as like an explosive go to the bucket scorer. And to me, both those guys, I mean, you know, Cam Thomas is 23. I know he's got a hamstring deal, but the Athletic said that he's widely considered to be available. And this guy's I guess the owner, Joe Tsai, is a big fan of Cam Thomas, but I mean, Cam Thomas is a scorer. So I think I'd be calling the Nets because I think the Nets are wanting to blow it up. And then, you know, outside of that, I agree with your Bulls take for sure. I like Vucevic. And there's some other players there. I mean, they want to move Patrick Williams, who's been kind of disappointing to them. And I like Patrick Williams. He's got a lot of talent, very long. I know he's kind of been inconsistent, but
he also makes a lot of money, Larry.
And a lot of money, but I mean, you could always flip salaries. I mean, you got some guys making some good money you could throw back. So I don't know. I mean, depends if you want to move guys like Looney and Payton and those guys, or Wiggins, you know, and he makes $26 million. So it's going to be interesting. Detroit has got some interesting pieces. I really like Paul Reed. It sounds like they're going to move him.
That's not a game change. I mean, that's not. I mean,
well, he
I
could
agree.
be.
I like
he
it,
can
but
definitely help. I mean, he's really good. He's a definite shooter and big body defender. I like him a lot. So I don't know. I mean, they have the DeAnthony Melton money to move, contract to move. They probably would move Moses. It sounds like they'd move Pajemski. It would have to be a hell of a deal to move Kuminga because otherwise Joe's not going to sign off on that. Peyton is probably available. So, you know, we'll see. I thought the name to me that is the one that makes you go, wait a second, because Joe would see the potential for box office is Zion, and who just switched his agent to who? Bill Duffy in Walnut Creek, who's got a great
Really?
relationship with the Warriors.
Did not know
Yes.
that. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I just texted Bill yesterday saying, hey, way to go on getting Zion. So they've got Zion. They're going to get him right physically. They got a plan. And Zion to the Warriors would make, to me, a lot of sense. I just think that he's a draw. He's a power player, obviously. But he's young, and I think he could be. They got a lot of pieces. Eventually, New Orleans was going to be motivated to move him, and I think that we're at that point. So,
Well, and you're never going to find another opportunity talking, in terms of timing, which is such an essence of life and where the directions it takes you. Timing is everything, and Zion will never be available like this again, provided he can recapture his game and be the player that a lot of people think he can be. He's available right now. You're absolutely right. If you're gonna get him and make a move for him, now is the time. I want to take a step back though, Larry, if you don't mind, and you mentioned Kuminga's name, and his minutes have been, at least for me, a massive point of consternation, and I think it's for very good reason. We saw him start tonight in place of Draymond Green, who missed tonight's game because of a calf soreness, calf tightness. I don't know what the specifics are, but they were taking precautions. He stayed out. Kuminga starts. Looney also starts in place of Trayce Jackson-Davis. And I thought Kuminga had a fantastic game. Shot 50% from the field. He was 9 of 18. Was also 1 of 2 from deep, as you mentioned. So 50% from 3, 19 points, 5 rebounds. But he still only played 28 minutes. 28 minutes, 51 seconds. So the box score, a lot of you out there looking at will say 29 minutes still. Stephen Curry averaged 36 minutes a game his rookie year. Why, like, even on a night like tonight where he was one of the biggest reasons why the Warriors were in this game, he got taken out with 5 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter. He came back in the game with 5 minutes and change remaining in the fourth quarter. That is almost 12 minutes that he just sat there. And instead of 28 minutes, 51 seconds, it could have been 32. It could have been 34. He was one of the difference makers out there. This continues to be a problem, Larry. Like, when people talk about the substitutions, the rotations, he's at the middle of all this because he's one of the team's best players, yet Steve Kerr doesn't trust him, clearly, because he's only playing on a night like this where you desperately need him 28 minutes, 51 seconds. What are your thoughts on this, man? Like, to me, either play him real minutes or trade him. We're at that point, and I do think that the team's struggles reflect that to a certain degree because you have like a player with potential star caliber in Jonathan Kuminga who has a coach who doesn't trust him, has a coach who doesn't instill confidence in him, has a coach who will play him 30 one night, 15 the next. He's never going to thrive in a situation like this. Like you said, Joe Lacob loves him. I agree with that. And I think that's why he's still with the team. I don't think Steve Kerr does. Do you agree that something needs to be done here? Because this is egregious, the way that Steve Kerr is handling Jonathan Kuminga.
I mean, I really believe that the minutes should go to Moses and Trayce Jackson-Davis and Kuminga. Obviously, you're going to play Curry and Green.
Yeah,
but
and
those
Wiggins, right?
guys. Well, obviously Wiggins. But I mean, my point. I just think that really, if this team's going to be what they need, the best they can be, they've got to put more into investment into minutes into Kuminga, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Moody. Those guys have to get more minutes on the floor. That's your young core. Those are the guys that need the minutes to develop. Those are the guys that, if you look at some of the numbers, they have good production. And you look at the end of the game, you're like, whoa, Trayce Jackson-Davis was sure good in 16 minutes or 18 minutes. Well, I mean, tonight, 7 and 6, 7.6 rebounds, 2 assists, plus 5, but he only played 22 minutes. I don't understand the Looney getting 25 minutes. And
that made no sense either. I'm with you on that.
I don't get that. To me, the guys I would play Kuminga, Moody, Trayce Jackson-Davis, and Podziemski with Curry, and then use Draymond as a starter and sit one of those other guys from time to time, probably Trayce. But that's what I would go with. I would play more starting minutes for the young guys, because I think young guys do better as when they start, as opposed to older guys can come off the bench. Looney can come off the bench and find his rhythm. It's much more difficult to ask young players in short minutes to find rhythm off the bench. It's a more difficult task. So
Yes, sir.
don't
Yes, sir.
ask them to do it. Let
Yes,
them
sir.
start the game. Moody, Kuminga, Trace Jackson Davis, I think, are your young guys who need to start and get significant minutes early in games.
B Slots in the chat writing that it was at the something 50 mark of the third quarter where Steve Kerr subbed out Stephen Curry and then momentum shifted. Larry, I want to ask you a question about identity. I remember Stephen Curry saying this a year ago, talking about the Warriors struggling to find their identity, and I don't know if they ever did, but to me, the definition of a team identity is who's finishing games. Like the Warriors dynasty, when you talk about their identity as a team, you can mention strength in numbers, you can mention the ball movement, the three-point shooting, but when it comes to those 4 championships, that death lineup to me was the identity of the Golden State Warriors. You knew exactly who was closing, and you knew that closing 5 was going to win you the game no matter what. The Denver Nuggets tonight, their closing lineup was the same as their starting lineup, except for maybe Russell Westbrook was playing in there. But no matter what, Nikola Jokic is going to play. He played, side note, 40 minutes and 2 seconds tonight. They needed him that much in order to win this game. He had 38 points. He had
15 in the fourth quarter.
Incredible. And he's just, that's Jokic for you. But when it comes to the Warriors, you mentioned Steph, you mentioned Draymond, you mentioned Wiggins, who again disappointed tonight, especially the final play where he slipped and fell. And again, that's not the first time he's failed finishing. Just a few games earlier, in case people forgot, Draymond Green had that perfect inbound pass that Wiggins didn't know what to do with. He just fumbled the ball and flailed. That's now twice in like 4 games that Wiggins has done this. The point is, what is their identity, Larry? Because I'm looking at this roster right now, and I still believe in the depth. I firmly believe they need to make a trade. This is not enough as constructed. But what's the identity? Like, who closes this? Who closes games for this team? Because who I see as the closing lineup, we were seeing it early in the season. The finishing 5 was Draymond, Steph, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Buddy Hield was usually the 5th. Anthony Melton was originally the 5th. He gets hurt. Buddy comes in, and he was filling in for that because Melton barely played all season anyways. And I thought that was working. But then Kerr slowly, for inexplicable reasons, shifted away from closing with Kuminga. He's lost trust immediately in Buddy Hield because that hot start has kind of cooled off a little bit. But still, you have to instill confidence and trust in your players. And if you're not going to be consistent with your closing minutes, I don't think you're ever going to have an identity. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like, do the Warriors have an identity? Who should they be closing with, man? Your thoughts?
The one guy who's in his prime is Wiggins, and Wiggins is soft and passive. And that's what the Warriors kind of feel like. They feel like they're deep, but they're kind of at their core. When push comes to shove, they're kind of soft and passive. Wiggins had 0 points in the fourth quarter, but guess why he had 0 points? He didn't take any shots. He's too passive. He played almost the second most minutes, I guess Anderson.
You're talking about Wiggins? Wiggins had no field goal attempts in the fourth quarter?
Unless the box score you sent me of the fourth quarter only is wrong, he took no shots.
Oh, you're right. I missed that.
He was minus 12 in the quarter.
Oh, my.
He had the lowest plus minus on the team in the quarter, minus 12. He's running around out there like he might as well be on a Stairmaster at 24-hour fitness. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, you're just are you getting a sweat, or are you playing basketball to win? You're the one guy in his prime on the floor. You have a myriad of skills. You're 6'8". You take no shots.
That's bad.
That's bad. Gary Payton took 4 more shots than Wiggins. Moses Moody took 4 more shots than Wiggins. Trace Jackson Davis took 3 more shots than Wiggins.
No, that's bad.
Wiggins took no shots, no free throw attempts, no threes.
And Wiggins has this. And Wiggins has this fan base where when he's like thriving, like when he's out there with the force that we saw like in 2022, his fans are all over the place boasting about how the Warriors have the best second option ever. And then when we go through stretches like this, none of you are there. You're all just quiet and hiding in your caves. Yeah, he's frustrating, man. I don't know what else to say about that. That is unacceptable. He had a great third quarter.
The only thing he did in the fourth quarter was have a turnover.
Jesus Christ, dude.
No, seriously, he had one steal and one turnover, and it was
bad,
-12.
Dude. That's bad, dude. All I'm saying is, for all you Wiggins fans out there who are quiet tonight, just stop hating on me when I bring his name up in a trade. He'll never be consistent. He will never be that 2022 version on a consistent basis ever. We saw 1 year of it. That was a fluke. You'll get little bursts here and there. You'll get little glimpses, and then you'll get massive, just disgusting, smelly, shitty eggs like tonight. It's frustrating, man. I would not mind if the team traded Andrew Wiggins. Would not mind at all.
He is total trade bait. Yeah, he's so gettable, but I think Pajemski's gettable too. I think that's agreed. Like, Larry, who on this? Is there anyone on this roster who is untouchable to you? Well, I don't think they want to move Kuminga. I mean, I think Joe really likes Kuminga.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? Like, would you trade Kuminga? I mean, what would you do?
No, I would not trade Kuminga. I mean, I would trade anybody, to be honest, for the right kind of trade. Anybody. I mean, literally anybody. I mean, because you're always looking to get better. But I think you gotta look at this situation and say, the Warriors, this would be a perfect time for the Warriors to buy low on Zion. This would be the perfect time because they do need help inside, and they need, if they have a plan to lean him out and lighten that load a little bit on his feet and knees and joints, get him at a lighter weight, get him, somehow shrink him down because he's got a lot of muscle mass, and he just carries a lot of weight. He's got to lean out or he's not going to have an NBA career. He was an NFL defensive end, basically, who's playing in the NBA, so they got to figure out a way to get him leaned out. But if they can, man, that would be an amazing player. And they have so many pieces that they could probably put together a very painless deal for Williamson, and he could excite the crowd. He could be a great draw. It could be a great show. And I think if they can get him at the right weight, it could be a genius move that kind of resuscitates their whole dynasty.
Agreed. I'm with you on all that. They need to shake things up, and they need to stop being such chicken shits when it comes to midseason trades. It's like, enough of that. Enough of you're like, I don't want to mess with the chemistry. I like the team as it is. Oh, my gut's telling me don't trade. I don't want to trade in the midseason. My gut's telling me I need to listen to my gut. That is my Steve Kerr impersonation. Sorry.
How about the people 5 games ago were like, hey man, you don't make big trades when you're 12-3. Oh, hey assholes, do you make them when you're 12-8? I mean,
God, that feels like a whole lifetime ago, dude. Like everything that this team built at the start of the season. Now, the good news is all it will take is one win, and then 90% of this will be forgotten. Have a little winning streak of 2 or 3, and all of a sudden, this is just ancient history. That's the good news. That's why that hot start was important, because you can afford to have a little stretch like this, recover, and then still build on. But they got to shake things up, dude. The way this is embarrassing. And with the loss, just to add an insult to injury here, the Warriors, because they finished the NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup. Larry, you have any plans in the near future to take an Emirates flight and go out to the Middle East? And what can you do out there? Like, what is the allure? Do you even know? Like, why do people go to places like Dubai? I have no clue. Do you?
Oh, are you kidding me? You're joking.
What, shop? You can do that anywhere. I don't. What's the appeal? I'm honest. I'm genuinely asking.
Me and all of my big jet setting friends, we're always popping in and out of Dubai. I gotta go. I mean, it's the tallest building in the world. Is there? I mean, what's the name?
Are you making trips to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as well, and taking in the sights and this.
Are you kidding me? You gotta. All the cool kids are partying in Dubai.
Oh, so we had someone in the chat who's
there's
actually been there.
there's tremendous wealth there. There's an unbelievable, if you got money and influence. I mean, there's a lot going down in Dubai. There's seriously.
I'll take your word for it. I still haven't heard one thing, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, it's like 150 degrees, but you know what? If you're inside, if you're inside, you got money. I think it's pretty pimping.
Like, how does civilization even exist in a place like that where it's just 150 degrees and there's just sand everywhere? Like, how does that even work? How do people even drink water? How do you grow food? I don't get any of that. Emirates, brought to you by Emirates. Well, the Warriors in the NBA Cup, they're now going to play the Houston Rockets on the road, man. That Rockets game earlier in the season, in case people forgot, they won that game in overtime after blowing a 31-point lead, but still they came back and won an OT. Those were back in the days when the team could score in late game possessions. I don't know what happened there, but Larry, your thoughts on the Warriors? They are in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. They will travel to Houston to take on the Rockets, a surging Rockets team that looks damn good right now. What are your thoughts on that, brother?
I'm really hoping that, let's say a guy like Kevon Looney, who's made probably $187 million in his career, really hoping he gets that 500 Kerr. I'm really hoping that a guy who's got, 200 million in the bank's got, makes an extra 500 grand. I'm fired up. Super fired up. Are you kidding me? It's life and death. I live for this shit. No, I would say, once again, I like the idea. Nobody wants to listen to my idea, but I like the idea of
I'm listening.
Let's give the fans something. I mean, it's amazing. The NBA, it's like they decided that the best thing they can give the fans is to incentivize their super spoiled players who should already be incentivized by the fact that they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars to play basketball. That right there should be the incentive, but it's not enough. And so now you need to give them more incentive so they don't pace themselves through the November games, because instead of shortening the season, no, you can't do that because the greedy owners don't get all the money. So you can't shorten the season, but we got to make the players play hard. So we'll make up this thing and give them a little bit more money. It's all distasteful. What they should have done was say, hey, if you go to any of these games, the Emirates Cup games, and your team wins the Emirates Cup, you get a free this or that from the NBA store. Then there would be incentive to go to those games.
But what about the players?
The fans would almost be connected and invested in a way that would be kind of cool. Like, hey, man, if we win tonight, I know what I'm getting. I'm getting that Warriors sweatshirt, blah, 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 whatever. Dude, that's how you do it. And it costs you nothing. You have warehouses full of just stuff everywhere. If you give away, the more you give away, the better, because those people are going to wear it with pride and they're going to be like human billboards for you. But no, let's just give the incredibly entitled, super rich player, let's give him 500 grand. And because he'll play harder, the rest of these peasants and peons, us, the fans, we'll just all lap it up because all we care about is a good show. It's just,
Larry,
it's weak. It makes it seem like your players don't care enough to play the November and December schedule with any intensity. And what does that say about your sport? There's a reason why the NBA ratings are in the toilet.
Yeah, that's not good. You're right.
And that's it, because there's Steph and LeBron are the face of the league, and those guys are dinosaurs. Nobody knows these young guys. The last NBA draft was a gigantic witness protection program event, and you got nothing. There's no branding. The Warriors are should thank the league. Should thank the league thank the Warriors for their roster. They're the most recognizable, identifiable team in the entire league.
Damn right. Well, Larry, by your plan, which fans would get the perks? Like, would it be just the season ticket holders? If
I was running the league, it would literally be any fan that registers and gives me their email, blah blah blah,
Done.
because you know the way the world is, everybody's selling everybody's info. So yeah, anybody who gave me their email and said they wanted a freaking T-shirt would get a freaking T-shirt.
All right, I like it.
And then they're walking through town wearing a Warrior T-shirt.
I like it.
And that makes other people go, hey, man, there's a buzz about the Warriors. Let's go spend $500 to go watch the Warriors and Jazz on Thursday night. That's how it's done. That's how you grease the wheels. And that's what the NBA needs to do more of. Instead of telling us that these rich players aren't fired up and giving them more money on top of that, and that doesn't resonate with people. That's like, what am I getting out of it? Oh, I'm getting nothing except they're trying harder, which they should have been trying hard to begin with. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm following 100%. 100%. Today's player of the game, that's gonna be a sponsor segment soon on Golden Days. Yes, all of that's left is the signing on the dotted line, and we got a new sponsor, folks, for the Golden Day side of things. I'm super pumped on that. Looking forward to announcing that. But no sponsor tonight. The player of the game is Steph Curry, 24 points, 11 assists. But Larry, he was just 8 of 23 from the field, a lot of missed shots, a lot of bricks from deep, just 4 of 15 shooting from beyond the arc. You're going to have a lot of people talking about his aging, his knees. You mentioned 36. He turns 37 in March. Did he look old to you out there? I mean, there were some moments where even I was like a little concerned. I'm like, Steph, dude, I don't know, man. What were you thinking out there?
He's still a great player, but yeah, I mean, his efficiency is going to go down. He's going to have bad nights. He had 5 turnovers tonight, 11 assists, but no steals. I mean, no steals. 24, but kind of a volume shooting night, 8 of 23, as you said, 4 of 15 from 3. Steph Curry's a great player still. I mean, it's just a matter of he can't shoulder the load, which is kind of why, back to my theory of feature Moody, Kuminga, and Trace Jackson Davis. When I say feature, I'm saying give them some more minutes early. They're the young guys who need to be playing, and your team should be as good as your young guys who it shouldn't be guys who are 36 leading you. Wiggins is technically the guy who should be the alpha, but he's not an alpha personality. No. So they got to figure out a way to move Wiggins, because he's just too much of a drifter. And when I say that, I mean he'll run up and down and not impact the game. He's got the ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor dramatically. We've seen him do it, but it's just not in there consistently. The fire is not burning. He's just kind of playing at 3/4 speed, not a lot of urgency. I just think that they need to make a move and shake it up. They've gotten a little stale.
Yes.
And they've got a little too many mouths to feed. And guys worried about their minutes and what their role is. And it's hard. It's hard when you have 13 guys that all have some kind of role for them to understand what their role is, especially when you're starting Peyton, you're starting Heald, you're starting Lindy Waters. You're not playing
consistent. Nothing consistent. Anywhere.
Lindy Waters is starting one night. He didn't play tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
Isn't that great? He goes from starting to just not even playing. It's like, make that make sense. First of all, Nick the Greek, I like what he's saying here in terms of Wiggins. His value's up right now. Trade him while his value's hot. Sell that stock high. And then Coast to Coast dropping $9.99, saying that we're wasting our breath, whatever you're trying to say, that Steve Kerr's too cute with his coaching. And this leads to a question for you, Larry, because I'm going to express an opinion that I do actually believe. This is genuine. I try to always be genuine, but
what?
I think
this is a genuine moment?
Yes, as opposed to being fake. Absolutely.
Hold on a second.
If the Warriors,
I want to write down where I was and what time it is.
Warriors,
10:43. We got a first genuine take.
I know. I'm a big fat phony. I apologize.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you this time. We start every take with that.
This time.
I ain't lying. This time I ain't lying.
No, but the reason why I
Rest of the
phrase it like
time,
that is
I'm told I'm a lying sack of shit.
no, but I phrase it like that because sometimes if we have a show like this and it's right after like a game where Kerr really screwed the pooch, like the other night I said that if the team replaced Kerr with Terry Stotts, they'd be better for it. I meant that. I still believe that. Like if the Warriors today decided, like if we woke up tomorrow morning and there was a press conference and Joe Lacob's like, Steve Kerr, we thank you for your 10 years of service. You led us to 4 championships. He, gives the whole speech. And we're pleased to announce Terry Stotts will be taking over as head coach. I think the Warriors are better off for that. What are your thoughts?
Steve, I think, is one of those guys where, see, you're very much in the micro because you're all up in it.
Which makes you crazy, side note. I don't
recommend
if you're
the micro fan hates Steve Kerr. The macro fan loves Steve Kerr.
Yeah, they appreciate it. Yeah, they do appreciate it.
If you're the macro fan, Steve Kerr is like, are you kidding me? There's parades and everybody loves everybody. He's been doing it. He's the Olympic coach, and occasionally he'll come out and give you his thoughts on the world, Steve Kerr, the world according to Steve Kerr. And from the macro view, you're like, this guy is freaking awesome. When you go micro view and you're like, he took out who? He played who? Anthony Lamb got how many minutes? What? Ty Jerome played? Kuminga didn't? You didn't develop Kuminga and Moody and all this, it's like young players, do they get better under Kerr? Do they just kind of drift? Is Trace Jackson Davis better today than he was when, he first came into the league? I think he's probably more skilled, but I don't know if he's more effective. So it's like, I don't know. It's like micro fans hate Kerr, macro fans love Kerr.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. Well, because you have a lot of people like like here, the Sentinels football channel who writes, when you win rings as both a player and a head coach, you that dude. And my pushback to that, like you said, if you pay attention to the nuance, the reply from my perspective would be, well, it's not like Steve Kerr was an alpha on those teams. Like, it's not like he was a starter, let alone like barely a role player on those teams that he was playing on. If I was sitting on the bench on those Michael Jordan Bulls teams, I would have a ring. I would have 3 rings right now. I'd have 6 rings if I was on all 6 of those teams.
He fought Jordan, dude. He fought Jordan.
He did. That's true. Yeah, he did. That's true in practice. That is true. Yes.
So there you go. He fought Jordan. So that's,
I mean, I don't know what that has to do with the rings.
I don't know what it has to do with anything. I just thought I'd put it in.
But you're right. He
fought Jordan.
No, but you're absolutely
occasionally
correct.
In the middle of a live stream, I'll hang on just a random fact and I'll just pound it home. He fought Michael Jordan. You just maybe you repeat yourself. You open your eyes kind of wide at once. You just gotta carry it out. It's kind of
absolutely right.
It's kind of like when you're a parent. Now, I know you're not a parent side, but someday if you're a parent, if you ever want to, get your kids' attention and they're little, you just be like, you give them that high eye, like Jimmy. And then all of a sudden, oh, he's giving me the high eye. It's a parenting skill, the high eye. No, but I mean, here's the thing on Kerr. He tries a bunch of things. He falls in love in short-term doses, and then what happens is it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that, it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that. Then all of a sudden the games start to pile up, and it's like everybody is like, I don't know my role. I have no idea what my role is. I'm Lindy Waters. I may start tonight. I may be a DNP. I don't know. Moses Moody. I may get hot early. He may abandon me late. I may not play. Peyton, same thing. Healed. Everybody. Trace Jackson Davis. He just gets in. Some guy, Kuminga. I mean, different guys. He'll just, and he'll have a reason, but it doesn't mean it works. And when it doesn't work, it looks bad. And it makes it so you can question it too, because there's so many other options.
You cover the Niners as much as you do any team, whereas my coverage is specifically with the Golden State Warriors. What is compare Shanahan and Kerr in the current present moment?
In what way? I mean,
fan perspective and
Shanahan's 6'1".
No. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, in terms of fan feelings about their coach.
Well, I mean, Kerr can go scoreboard and rings, and it's like, dude, he can be like, you got somebody who's got a better resume, bring him on in. Otherwise, shut the hell up. You know what I mean? So I mean, Kerr's kind of got like he's kind of got scoreboard on everybody.
True.
Shanahan offense clearly works, but and he's a fantastic football coach, but right now I wouldn't be talking a big game because they've gone through their cycle. It's been 7 or 8 years. They've had a couple bites at the Super Bowl. They didn't get it either time. Their fans are wanting more. Their ownership wants more. The team's aging, and the young quarterback is being asked to shoulder more of the load. He's showing that he's unable to shoulder all that load. So they just have a lot of things going on, right? They've unfortunately, I mean, I know this is a different sport side, but in the NFL, the big thing is the draft. Not that in basketball it's not, but in the NFL, it's everything.
It's a huge deal. It's a
yeah. The 49ers have had 10 first-round draft choices, and they have blown 8.
Oh,
so
ouch. Yeah, it's not good.
So that's a problem. And that's
good.
kind of where they're at right now. Is if they had hit on 8, they'd still be right there with the Chiefs and the Lions and all the best teams. If they'd hit on half of the 8, they'd be a significantly better team. The fact of the matter is they went 2 for 10. So, including Ricky Pearsall this year, and I hate to say that because he was shot and everybody's rooting for him, but the last 3 games he's run 63 routes. He's been targeted 3 times, and he has no catches.
I'm gonna give you a take, and I'd love to know your response to this. Again, given that you're covering the Niners, and I love the Niners, and which is why I love listening to you, watching you whenever I'm not doing Warrior stuff. I think if Kyle Shanahan had a quarterback, like, and I can't believe I'm like Patrick Mahomes. If he had Patrick Mahomes, he'd be winning Super Bowls, and then he'd be able to say scoreboard in the same way that Steve Kerr can. And if Steve Kerr had teams that did not feature a Stephen Curry on them, I think he would be producing far less results than what Kyle Shanahan has produced with the talent he's had. Your thoughts?
Well, I agree. I mean, I don't know if I agree, directly, but as far as I agree that players are it.
Yeah.
And
that was my point. Yeah.
Why is, Andy Reid went 13 years in Philadelphia, never won the Super Bowl. He had Donovan McNabb. He had some good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But they didn't have the best quarterback. They didn't have the best team. He goes to Kansas City. He gets the best quarterback. He's won 3 rings. He's been to 4 Super Bowls. He may go on and win a couple more. He's going to wind up with 5 rings in Kansas City after the Eagles kicked him out. And the Eagles are such idiots, and their fans are such idiots that they're like, hey, we won one with Doug Peterson, so it's all right. No, it's not. You ran off Andy Reid. He's got 3 Super Bowls. He established a dynasty. You fired a coach that established a dynasty. And all I would say is that could happen with Kyle Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the risk, is that you could get rid of Kyle Shanahan and then he could go somewhere and find a better equation. They've made some mistakes, and they've invested in some expensive players that are older and beat up, and their cap is tight, and they've got Brock Purdy there. And do you pay him? One argument says you pay him like the Dolphins just paid Tua Tagovailoa. You pay him $53 million. Other people are like, no, don't pay Brock $53 million. You won't have a good team. And then other people want to make him wait another year and see what he is. So there's a split of opinion at the quarterback position. There's a split of opinion on Shanahan, though I think most reasonable Niner fans go, hey, look, you were in the Super Bowl last year, so Kyle Shanahan is probably the right coach. It's probably just a down year. But there's a loud and getting louder contingent of, you want to call it the lunatic fringe or whatever you want to call it, that wants Shanahan fired right now. So there's that. And then there's John Lynch. And as I just stated very plainly, they've had 10 number 1 picks and they've missed 8. Now he saved himself because he found George Kittle on day 3, and he found DJ Jones on day 3 and Brock Purdy on day 3 and some really good players on day 3 and after the draft. And they've done a really good job overall. and they've had pretty good rosters. So overall, he's been able to stay above water and do well by doing well in personnel outside of the first round. But your stars and your leaders and your best players come in the first round. And the fact that they've gone 2-8 in 10 picks thus far is a major part of why, they're 5-7.
As we wrap it up here, the graphic on the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, showcases the Warriors quarterfinal Cub matchup. It's going to be held 8 days from now, December 11th at 6:30 p.m. The Warriors at the Rockets. I think it's a single elimination as well, meaning if the Warriors lose this game, they're officially out of the Cup. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. They got a tough stretch of games. I want to finish this show on this note, Larry, if you don't mind, and obviously if you don't want to finish on this note, we can keep going. But
we will not finish on this note.
The Denver Nuggets have a very big front court, and I don't want to not bring this up during the program tonight because I do think it made a difference. Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., that is a huge front line. And the Michael Porter Jr. part of it was particularly an issue for the Warriors tonight. He's so damn tall. He's like 6'11", and from three, he was only 1 of 3 from deep tonight, but that one was huge. And he also had a lot of monster slams. What I'm trying to say here is that the Warriors just didn't have an answer for that. They did not have an answer for a front court that big. And in a war of attrition like the Warriors were in tonight, they ran out of steam at the worst possible time late in the fourth quarter. And this is one of many reasons why a trade is desperately needed, man. This team needs help. I know if Draymond Green played tonight, maybe they win, but who knows when he comes back. And regardless, depth is nice. So I just really hope the team does something soon because this thing is spiraling out of control very fast. And by the way, I got to give some love to anybody who drops ducats coast to coast. Look at all this money he's dropping coast to coast. Thank you. Writing, think about it. Every time a coach who left the Warriors shines with their new team. Look at Mike and Kenny, Mike Brown, Kenny Atkinson. All of a sudden, Ty Jerome is cooking the Warriors under a new coach. What are your thoughts on that, Larry? It is true. People leave and oftentimes they succeed. Not always, but it happens a lot. Your final thoughts, Larry, on everything we've talked about tonight.
Yeah, Kerr sucks. And come on. Seriously. Kerr's got rings on every finger. My God. Talk about this. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, come on. I mean, Kerr's had a lot of success. He's had a lot of success.
That's true. And the review on Looney was bullshit. HR dropping $2 to say that. You're right. Yeah, it was. I don't know what you mean specifically. Was the result bullshit? Was Kerr challenging it bullshit? I'd love to know more specifically what you mean, but I agree.
Return the money if you don't like the question. HR, Cy will be sending that to you. Do you want a check, a money order, personal check, maybe?
And then you got Crazy Boo Boo Chicken, incredible handle, who writes, "Kerr's my idol and hero. He can't go." Larry, did you know? I don't think you've heard me say this at all yet. I have promised this to the audience that if the Warriors win a title this year or any year, if Steph gets a 5th championship, I will not only never criticize Kerr again, I'm getting a Steve Kerr tattoo. I don't know if you knew that, but I made that promise, and now it's looking like I shouldn't worry about that. But we'll see.
I would not get that tattoo, and I would not tell anybody if I did. I wouldn't be like, "Hey, bro, you want to see my Kerr tattoo?" I think that's gonna hurt your ability to land ladies. I'm worried about that. I'm actually worried, especially if it's like a picture of Kerr's face. Or it'd be worse if it just said Kerr.
Well, what if I tattooed his son's name?
What's the worst Kerr tattoo idea that Cy could come up with? Do you go with a Steve Kerr, and maybe they used to announce it? Steve Kerr. Maybe what you do is you get a tattoo of Steve real small, and then the Kerr gets bigger. Steve,
well, what if
Kerr.
what are your
it's
thoughts?
Almost like we can hear your tattoo.
Well, what if I did what you said, but instead of Steve, I tattooed his son, and I only used the abbreviated version of his first name. So not Nicholas Kerr, but Nick. Larry, how do you explain that, dude? Like, what do you?
What would be a really good idea is get like a ball going through a hoop, like in a tramp stamp spot on your back, right there, with a ball going through the hoop.
My goodness!
And it says, and underneath his autograph, Steve Kerr, like
Larry,
right there in your lower back.
Larry, who's paying?
What do you think? That's a good idea.
I'm in, but they got to win a championship first before we take any of this seriously. But yeah, I'm open, man. I'm open. I will lower a tramp stamp. Sure, sign me up of Steve Kerr. I'm all in. His big fat
Maybe
face.
you get one of Kerr in all the different uniforms that he played in the NBA up your calf.
I
like
could do that
Arizona, and then it goes like that.
Or HR's idea. Have a tattoo of Moody sitting on the bench. Steve Kerr.
Guy holding his face.
I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck, Moses. You're right.
Ranger 49 is a good idea.
Kerr was here. Yeah, there you go. Right at the tramp stamp spot. Sounds good. Sign me up.
That's gonna be a popular tattoo. That's gonna be a popular tattoo.
All right, brother. Larry, give your sponsor some love one more time, because why not? They're taking care of you. Who's paying your bills, brother?
Yeah, well, thank you to Pig and a Pickle, the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week, guys. Go get some great barbecue. You will not be disappointed. Thanks to Mancini's Sleep World. They're a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Make sure that you use the code KRUG10, KRUEG 10, at any Mancini's or online at sleepworld.com. You're going to get 10% off. 10% off just because you say you know me.
Which is $300. Like, you could buy a beautiful.
It could be $500.
What's up?
You might be able to save $500.
Oh, geez, yeah, you could buy like a good surfboard for that, man. You could buy a lot of stuff. What would you buy with that savings? Well, like off top of your head, like what's on your wish list of toys that you could just purchase and enjoy?
God, dude, I don't know. I'm not a big toy guy.
Do you play video games? Do you?
I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind having. I wouldn't mind having a condo on the Big Island in Hawaii.
Okay, there you go.
I'm thinking about maybe if the channel really blows up, you'll see me, on the Big Island. Just mahalo, everybody. Mahalo.
What do you think about too much sauce in the chat? By the way, are we going too long now?
My wife says I'm the smallest she's been with. Oh man,
I don't know what to say to that. That's just rough.
Rough.
We're done. We're out of here, right? On that note. Well, I won't leave. I like to leave on a positive note, and I'll say this.
And that's not a positive note.
No, not that comment. No. Let me
get that one off the screen.
Yeah, let's get that off the screen. That was not. I didn't intend to end on that note. I wanted to end on this note.
That's just not right. That's just not right.
We saw with no answer for that.
Macchiato's like, damn, that's sad. Damn, that's sad. Oh man!
How do you respond to that?
Look at BC. Look at BC. Look at BC.
What this one? What do they call that? The shocker? Is that? I think there's a name for that.
Kyle McTiernan. Larry's a massive video game guy. Look at him. He's put the deposit down on Call of Duty 14 that comes out in 16 years. Thank you.
You know what could be a good one? What about like 500? Use that $500 to go to Vegas and bet on sports. Maybe you could triple your money and then.
Dude, I've been killing it. I've been killing it wagering the last couple of weeks. Just absolutely killing it.
Bravo.
College football, pro football. I can't bet the NBA though. I got to stay away. Stay away from the NBA. But I'm killing the NFL and college the last few weeks. So I'm feeling pretty good. And unfortunately, man, I want the Niners to make the playoffs. So they got to run the table. They got to beat the Bears on Sunday. So we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
Let's hope for that. And friendly reminder, this is my positive note to everyone. The Warriors, all they got to do is just win one and then win two. And this little depressing period of life will be over just like that. That's the beauty of sports. It takes just one win and you forget all this crap. Yes, the Warriors have lost 5 straight. Yes, they lost 7 of 9. Yes, they have a coach who has no idea what he's doing half the time, but They did start the season 11-3, I think. And
let's not forget, Nicholas Hornsby has a great thought that he wants to share with us. Thank God Wiseman can speak Chinese.
Bye-bye.